Welcome everyone to my dad and I's road trip driving from Amsterdam, the Netherlands to Mumbai, India. In today's episode, we're driving from Iran, crossing the border into Turkmenistan, driving straight through Turkmenistan, and crossing into Uzbekistan. More specifically, we're going to be crossing the Iran-Turkmenistan border called Bajgiran, then spending the night in Ashgabat, and making our onward travel to Darwaza and driving straight up north towards Nukus in Uzbekistan. In the last episode, we ended just before the Iran-Turkmenistan border, so first things first, we had to exit Iran. The exit procedure from Iran was much easier than we had anticipated. We went to an office where we got our car registration checked and our carnet stamped, and then we headed 2 to 3 kilometers up the road to the immigration hall. At the immigration hall, our visa ground notices were stamped and then taken. The visa ground notice had our entrance and exit stamps. And then, just when we thought that maybe today luck was on our side regarding border crossings since Iran went so easy, we were greatly mistaken. As we officially exited out of Iran, it was time to make our way into Turkmenistan. Initially, when we passed the first gates, we were greeted by 4 guards. I, as the passenger, had to step out while my father remained inside. I handed both our passports over, and my father had to drive the car through a decontamination pool. Once that was done, we first made our way to the immigration hall. We entered the Turkmenistan border at 12:05 midday. A guard walked with us and helped us with the procedure. The first thing we had to do was go to the doctor's office. A surprise COVID-19 test. Once we were cleared, and of course we had to pay for that, we sat in one of the guard's rooms. He started writing receipts by hand of all the amounts we had to pay. It seemed like he wouldn't stop writing.
It was incredible, the amount of paperwork we had to fill in. I think in the end, between the two of us, we had more than 13 papers filled in. Incredible how much they were checking.
Once we finally finished paying all the receipts that were given to us, we were officially allowed to go and queue up to stamp our passport. What was notable for us was, approximately every 30 minutes, a bus full of women and some men would make their way into the hall with tons of black garbage bags. I took a peek inside these garbage bags and it seemed like there were basic household supplies, such as washing detergent, Coca-Cola, and sometimes even toilet paper. We later found out that there was a market in Iran near the border where a lot of Turkmen women would do their shopping. So we queued up behind the entire bus of people.
In the immigration hall, it was complete chaos with all the buses entering, with people with big bags and pushing, and I think we had probably 3 shift changes. Every time we thought that the guy understood what we were trying to do, he was replaced by another.
Nevertheless, once these buses loaded out, all the people would enter the immigration hall and they queued up and pushed to get their passports stamped. Finally, we were allowed to hand our passports and we gave them to the immigration officer. They took a look and placed them to the side of their computers and continued on with the other Turkmen passports. What, we thought? We were a little confused at this point because we thought it was our go to get our passport stamped, but we were instructed to move to the side and let the other people continue. The immigration officer wouldn't even look at us. After the entire set of passports were cleared from the bus load earlier, we finally thought we would be helped. But nope, he didn't even look at us, he swiveled his chair around and walked straight out, and we found out he was going on lunch break. After around another hour of waiting, a different guard came. I pointed to my passports and made sure he could see me. He looked at me and just kept working behind his computer. At this point, the entire immigration hall was empty. I made my way to the guard that was supposedly helping us and he said, "Just wait, sit down." At this point, another busload of people came entering the immigration hall. Oh my gosh. Anyways, to make a long story short, after 3 hours of waiting, our passport was finally processed and we could get stamped and we could make our way into security. Also, quickly to mention, we got our visa grant notice through the tour company where we had booked our Turkmenistan itinerary from. We heard it was very difficult to get a Turkmenistan visa, therefore we decided to go through a travel agency. And in the 3 hours of waiting for our passport to be stamped, our driver, who was booked by the travel agency, had already found us since we were so delayed, so that I guess was a bless. Also, the border agents asked for our exact route. This was then drawn out on a paper. We had to keep and hand this paper in at the exit port that was mentioned. Make sure you stick exactly to the route since we nearly got in trouble, but that's for another video. Hallelujah, our headache was over. Nope, it was just the begin again. I was instructed to go through the security terminal, but my father wasn't allowed to. He had to go back outside and to the car. He would do his security check there at the car. After going through it relatively quickly, I was waiting for my dad. Approximately 30 minutes later, I walked around since I couldn't find where he was or where the driver was. I walked around and found the car completely empty of all our bags, and they were laying on the ground.
After the paperwork, I had to go back to the car and I had to get all the luggage out, bring all the luggage inside for x-ray. The whole car was stripped twice. The roof tent, I had to open it. I had to explain them how it worked. I had to take the leather down. They inspected it, went inside. They even found 2 miniature bottles of scotch, which I really totally forgot about. They were there from my previous Hungarian visit. I then was surprised. They went at least 3 times through our medicine box to inquire about what type of medication we had with us. They were really, really careful with that. Then all that was good. In the end, they were all very friendly. And by that time, it was around, I think about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Jacob, your turn.
And the cherry on top, it was our drone. The Turkmenistan officials were so paranoid that this added another hour. They asked officers, they went up their chain because they didn't know what to do with the drone. Some said let's take it and destroy it, and some said they could keep it. Finally, they decided to seal the drone with a lead seal and handed it to our driver who would assist us. We were not allowed to use it for the remainder of the trip, and the drone would be handed over as soon as we were stamped outside of Turkmenistan. In total, the entire border crossing took around 5 hours. But we were in Turkmenistan, and only half-hour drive from Ashgabat. Since the border crossing took so long, stay tuned to the next episode where we dive deeper into the city of Ashgabat, drive to the gas crater in Darwaza, and visit the UNESCO World Heritage Site Konya Urgench, ultimately before crossing into Uzbekistan. Till next time.